Hello everyone and welcome to Stronghold with me, the Sprite.
And me, the Doctor.
And I, the Bard.
Where we're going to be running through Manchester in hot pursuit of, being hot pursued by the pig? The pig, because we killed the snake.
The hilarious thing we're doing here is you're correct in saying that this does take place in Manchester in real life, and the level is called the Mountain Pass, and therefore the Mountain Pass we're going through is probably the pass which connects Yorkshire to Lancashire, which is actually called the Snake Pass, who we just killed. But there we go.
I wonder if that's deliberate. I don't think it is. But...
No.
Everyone thinks it's called the Snake Pass because it's very windy. It's actually called the Snake Pass because it has a pub on it called the Snake Inn.
Terrific.
Fun fact.
Yeah, I can picture that. And quite frankly, I said, I don't believe it was on recording, but I said, with great wit, that it sounds just like a normal night out in Manchester.
Also,
no
I just want to point this out. The pig is renowned for throwing vast quantities of troops into battle and is not used to defeat. You are likely to be massively outnumbered, so it is essential you use the terrain to your best advantage. This is a bitch of a mission. So there's a fort built into the mountain pass up ahead. If you fortify your garrison there, hopefully the pig's sword will come to you. Our mysterious friends have sent more plans, this time for a large tower-mounted ballista, which has proven valuable against the pig's war machines. Yes, it will. These ballistas are basically everything. So we get this tiny little shitty unfinished fort here that we've got not a lot of time to prepare. They've got until that meter fills up to basically get this ready for the pig's assault. Who will come from? Where is the signpost? It's down there. Okay, so we've got this front one, and yeah, we've got a ballista on it there, and I want more of those ballistas. Basically, those ballistas are functionally kind of broken because much like an archer, in this game, I should specify, not in real life, they don't have to worry about ammunition. They can just fire unlimitedly. So something being both a fortification, which can shoot, with unlimited ammo, is fucking wild.
That was a really long sentence, Doctor. I was going to say something at the start of it, and you just didn't end.
I don't think he took a breath there. I think he's been speaking for
No, I don't think I did take a breath there. I'm very aware of the extent to which I didn't take a breath during that.
Your lung capacity is very impressive.
Of course, this game's a bitch, isn't it?
Yes.
It has not given us any snow. Snow? Any stone.
Can you talk me through the terrain here, Doctor? Like, where are the baddies going to come from?
Baddies are going to come from here, from this signpost. Then we've got the first gate, through this valley to the second gate, through this valley to the actual edge of the keep, and then our keep up here. A fortress, no less. That is the route they will have to take, and we need to make sure every element of it is manned. Not the square tower. The square towers, I want to make sure every square tower has a ballista on it. Unfortunately, unless I'm sorely missing something, there is no stone on this map at all that we can quarry.
So no more walls, basically. Or you got to amass enough gold to buy the stone you need to build the walls.
And I'm going to go ahead and get... Oh, no, they have given us a marketplace. That is something. He's starting to marshal there. Right, let's bring some spearmen in. I want to bring these archers all forwards to the first level for now. Yeah, only big towers can support siege engines, so only these large square ones or a round tower, which we can't build. This one here is just too small to have a siege engine meaningfully built into. Oh, they've got a ram! Shit, well, let's hope that doesn't come into
Bring out the wolf's head!
Grunt! Grunt! Grunt!
Jesus Christ, lads.
Again,
Your mother is so large that when she walks around, a group of orcs go behind her chanting, Grunt! Grunt! Grunt!
Anyway.
Your mother is so large that when she fell, the Westfold fell with her.
Your mother is so hideous, I looked away to watch Denethor eat a salad.
That's awful.
It's so good, man. No, not at them. Aim for the ram. Not at the towers. Aim for the trolls.
The trolls. Again, we're back into how little technology advances in the so-called Dark Ages. Like, Romans had ballistas as siege engines and, like, field artillery. And yet, here we are in 1210, according to this game.
That's because the Dark Ages.
Well, that's a whole different rant.
Yeah,
whether that was a thing.
It was definitely a thing.
No, it's a misnomer to call it the Dark Ages, because, like, whilst things were not great in Europe, there were various other parts of the world that weren't Europe, which it turns out most of the world is not Europe.
The Dark Ages and things where, like, for example, the Islamic empires developed the entire concept of lenses and optics and astronomy and whatnot. Yes.
Fine.
Or
the European Dark Ages.
That's
not a problem.
That is more acceptable, I think. Yeah.
It's definitely more acceptable. It was a whole thing of going away from enlightenment and knowledge. It was the Dark Ages. I don't care what your father has to say about it. It was the Dark Ages.
Take this up with my dad. Apparently,
the medievalist.
Yeah, who has very strong opinions that there's no such thing as a Dark Age. Also because
no, he literally said to me, "I've never heard of the phrase the Dark Ages," which was clearly bullshit.
Right, he's being obnoxious because he does that. Just so you know, he does also watch these.
That's fine. I have said this to his face.
That is true. Yes,
this is nothing that's a surprise.
I think what he's saying, which I think is fair, is that the Dark Ages is not a academically used term.
It's falling out of favour. And it is absolutely fair to say, yes, it is deeply problematic and it doesn't appreciate a variety of things. But to say that it shouldn't happen or that it's a terrible thing is also not right. There was a reason it was called the Dark Ages. It wasn't moving away from enlightenment, knowledge and understanding. It was.
If by Dark Ages we mean what you say is by moving away from enlightenment, knowledge, understanding, I suppose, accurate. Just while we're on, like, contentious issues about the use of academic or not so academic terms, there's a bit of a dispute in the history department of the university that I work at. So apparently lots of American academics in recent publications have tried to move away from the use of the term Anglo-Saxon.
I can see why.
Do you want to have a guess as to why?
So, let's work this out. Do you know what a Saxon is? Not as a person. Do you know where the word comes from?
I know that they were ostensibly like a racial ethnic group from North Germany that came to the British Isles.
Where does the name Saxony come from? It's all the same thing. It's a type of knife that the Saxons made, and they're called Saxons because of that knife. Saxony is the region which you get Saxon. It's all very tautological, but it all comes down to the name for a knife. So I can imagine, isn't it? Any awkward racial stereotyping aside, and we shouldn't just cast that aside, it's also not a super descriptive term.
No.
But
yes and no, it's like Alsatians.
Yes, exactly. I suspect it is politicised in a similar way to Alsatians.
But apparently the issue is that lots of specifically American academics, are uncomfortable using the term because lots of uncomfortable groups in the United States, the least of which is the Ku Klux Klan, like define themselves as white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, right?
Yeah.
So specifically like Northern European, as in like we're not Italian, we are not Spanish, we are Anglo-Saxon.
It's a really interesting thing. In V for Vendetta, there's a cartoon which is on like literally in one background of the thing, but the cartoon is called Storm Saxon, and it's like, yes, that's exactly the kind of thing you can see a right-wing government pushing, because it's like, yes, it's a kid's cartoon, but also it's instilling good Saxon values.
But it's like, how racist have you got to be to say, like, it's not enough that we're European, it's like we're a specific type of European, the whitest of Europeans.
Again, it's what you're trying to associate yourself with, definitely.
Specifically, like, Arthurian legend, and it's a very aggressive...
It's a problem,
nationalist.
It's an unfortunate problem with a lot of, like, Arthurian or pagan or like druidic stuff and stuff like that, is that a lot of people like that shit for racist reasons.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, because like it's perfectly valid to try and dissociate that term from its improper use, and it's been co-opted by some frankly awful people. But nevertheless, the fact remains that in 950 there was a country called Angland, Angloland, and the people there called themselves Anglo-Saxons.
They called themselves the Angles.
Okay, sorry, my apologies. But, like, nevertheless, it feels like a denial of historical facts, and I understand they're doing it for right reasons, but I also object to American academics doing that for, I don't know, the history of a nation which is not theirs. That feels a bit icky to me as well.
Fair, I can see the not theirs thing, but just because people have been called it doesn't mean it's accurate. That's why we don't call Native Americans Indians anymore.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing about that. I remember a while ago, I don't know if it is still the case, because I don't know what the state of the art is, but there was a while where American Indians was preferred as a term by Native Americans to the term Native Americans.
Yeah, now it's indigenous.
Oh, really?
Yeah, indigenous makes the most sense, I think.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it certainly has, like, flipped around a lot. Like, I'm not saying that they're wrong to flip around or anything like that, but it's just it has changed, as these things often do. Like, yeah, to me, Indian seems like a strange thing because it's, referencing cartographical errors by white Europeans is the only reason we call them Indians, because we fucked up and thought that was India.
Well, one particular man did. Refused to accept he
say-
was wrong.
Yeah, one particular really, really bad man
Yes.
refused to.
Oh yeah, he's a real Columbus. Right. Oh, kill it. Ah, shit. Well, alright, let's get everyone.
Oh dear.
I was trying to take out the ram before it got built, but it's still straightforward enough to take out when it's built. Apparently, a lot of things like siege engines and all that would also have just been draped in basically leather and skins
Yeah.
to be
Stop
better than nothing. Basically.
Stop getting set on fire
Yeah.
as well.
Oh yeah. Like wet skins as well would stop fire arrows or like pitch soaking from working. Oh, this is gonna be tough because you'll just see here how the leather armor does make crossbowmen just a lot harder to take out.
Yeah.
But a ballista shot will still do well to them because obviously that thing is like that's crossbows.
beast.
That's the heavy Gustav to their regular cannon.
Also, unlike regular longbowmen, the ballista will not get tired.
No, it won't.
So are they just not falling into your traps?
They are. They can't meaningfully path around them, but it just depends
Oh my
on how
god,
they
but
have
they're
fallen.
they're fairly knocking that wall down.
Yeah,
though.
they will do. Like here,
Oh,
we have just
shit.
got to defend. Like, yeah, we're halfway through. So the pig sends big forces at a quarter, a half, and 3/4 of the time. But this isn't really testing us. It's all just about getting ready for the big lad, which is inbound. How are we doing for food? Not great. Let's build a
Excuse me.
few more farms down here.
Also, Bard, there's a lot of issue around the Saxons, the Angles, because they're not the only ones who settled, and there's a
No,
lot
I
of
do know
lost
that, yeah.
other people who are just branched under Saxon when they actually
Yeah,
weren't.
because Anglo-Saxons are basically 600 to Norman.
Yeah, and I know that like it is problematic to like refer to like this myriad of people from effectively
doing
North
that?
Germany as the Anglo-Saxons.
Yeah.
Why is it doing a celebration noise?
Because you got rid of one of the waves.
It normally does that when you actually meet. It's weird. I had a complete dissonance moment because it did that without saying, "We have achieved victory, sire," or something like that. So it kind of threw me. I'll be honest.
But I
Shit.
take
Right.
You okay?
I do take your very good points that like Anglo-Saxon is a very imprecise term for like a very diverse group of people who may or may not have come roughly from the area that we now call Saxony.
No, but we specifically know that there were a variety of different ones. I can't for the life of me fucking remember off the top of my head. There was the Saxons, there was the Normans, there was something else, and we, like, after that, the UK was very much colonized by Denmark people, Vikings.
Well, not Vikings at that point, but Danes. Yes.
Yeah, so they were a different people entirely as well. So
Yeah, well,
most
you had for a while. You had Mercia, which was like the Saxon kingdom. Then you had the Danelaw in the north, and these were kind of both completely coexisting kingdoms on the physically on the British Isles.
So it's not
But that-
accurate to say that we're coming mainly from Saxons. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's not.
No, well, the Saxon colonization was a bit earlier, quite a bit earlier. But like, yeah, you are right. It is
Well, not even
it's inaccurate. It's inaccurate to call the Kingdom of England in 1066 as a Saxon
And you know
kingdom.
that the people who are misusing that term aren't really meaning it in any kind of like when we're saying like it's inaccurate. It's not about being accurate. It's the fact that in the popular mindset, Saxon very much links to ideas of an old and glorious regime before all this foreign nonsense is what it's clearly harking back to.
Even though they were invaders.
Oh yeah, well this is the thing. Every fucker over the last like 3,000 years has invaded Britain and then gone, wait, this is shit, and then been invaded by someone else a few hundred years later.
Invaded, left some children, and then said, wait, this is shit.
Yeah. Like the Romans did it, the Saxons did it, the French did it. Everyone's had a fucking crack, and you know what? That's kind of our cultural heritage at this point. Let's be honest.
To be say, when you say the French did it, so like there is maybe not a popular misconception, but like people think of Normans
Yes, in
as
fairness, yes, the Normans aren't exactly French in the traditional sense. They're
but it's worth talking about
Brittonic
it.
people, confusingly meaning from Brittany, as in not.
Yeah.
Well, I actually more complex than that. It's worth exploring this while you kind of rack this up. So Norman, the literal translation means Northman, and the Duchy
That's
of
even more
Normandy.
confusing.
What would become the Duchy of Normandy was given to a group of Viking mercenaries. So the King of France basically fights these Viking mercenaries to a standstill in, I want to say, the 9th century, but I'd have to look it up. And in order to get them to stop raiding French land, he basically says, you can have this chunk of my kingdom, and the only thing I ask of you is you pay your taxes, you acknowledge me as your overlord, and you stop other Vikings from sailing down the rivers towards Paris. So they duly do this. Their chieftain is a guy called Rollo, which is eventually Christianized to Robert, I think is his Christian name that he takes. He's baptized. And over time, his descendants basically become French Christians, effectively. But they're all descended from what is effectively a group of Viking mercenaries.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
it also explains,
fuck!
like...
Oh, no.
Oh, Doctor.
Oh, I
What
fucked
happened
up
there?
hard. I pressed the wrong button and I accidentally destroyed my gatehouse. It's fine, we have got enough stone to cover that.
Oh dear.
That was a sad moment. Woo!
Well, you'll get a new gatehouse with blackjack and hookers. But yeah, it also goes a long way to explaining why, for the longest time, the Normans, the people who inhabit the Duchy of Normandy from about 900 onwards, or whenever the date is, you can go and look up viewership, but like why they're incredibly good fighters, because they're all effectively Vikings with French armor and weapons.
Yeah. This whole thing's set up so I can't... Because these are all on such angles, I can't actually build drawbridges or make a meaningful moat, which is a bit annoying.
No, but put more of those spike trap down.
They are just very expensive. That's the only trade-off.
Are those angles you were talking about, are those Saxons, or...?
Very good. No, he's doing a bit. Ignore him.
I wish.
Anyway, we should get away from like the contentious like racial territory.
That's what we hired the sprite for in a lot of ways.
I was gonna say that's my remit.
I don't think we've said anything too controversial, but you tell us, viewership. Like, are you enjoying the talk about medieval society and history and the blending of?
Frankly, if anyone's still watching
groups?
at this point, if that wasn't for them, they wouldn't be still watching at this point. So.
I know. I'm very conscious that, like, in the first recording session for this game, I spoke a lot, and I'm really sorry about that.
That's why people like you.
That was spicy. I directed everyone to attack that, and they fired, as we've discussed in previous episodes, an extremely historically inaccurate volley where everyone fires at exactly the same time, which is not likely, but looks cool as fuck, unfortunately.
Next time you're in your office, viewership, try and get everyone, like the 20 people or whatever that work in your office, to clap at the same time, and I guarantee you won't be able to do it. Try and get a bunch of people to fire a longbow in unison.
Isn't that what songs and stuff are for?
Yes, but that only works so far. Like, that works with shanties and stuff like that. Works a little less well with, firing a longbow in battle.
Well, yeah, but again, if you have this thing where you're all chanting together, that's how you make it work.
I don't think you can chant and fire a longbow. That's the thing. I think you've got to hold your breath.
I think we could get 100 people to clap their hands at the same time, as long as everyone knows "We Will Rock You."
That's a good point, actually. That's a very good point. What can I say? Maybe the only thing that was needed to revolutionise ranged warfare in the medieval period was Freddie Mercury. That's a movie, and I'd watch it. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yes, it's called A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale. A Knight's
Yeah, I was
Tale.
going to say, that is not 1,000 miles away from the plot of A Knight's Tale.
Apparently, I was watching a video about this recently, about like a historian sits down and I think it was actually she, the one that I watched about this, but she sits down and she rates a variety of like historical movies based on how real she thinks they are. And apparently historians love A Knight's Tale. They think it's great.
Not because it's real.
No, it's a work of fiction, but like apparently the way they joust and the way they fight is like more or less accurate, they think.
Okay, I'll accept that, but I can tell you right now, the cloth and the fabrics and the outfits are definitely not correct.
That I'll have to take your word for. I've only ever seen A Knight's Tale
Just trust
once.
her on cloth and fabrics. She's too good to challenge.
I don't doubt his pride. I've only seen A Knight's Tale once, and it was okay. I wasn't huge on it. It was all right.
Do you know about the warnings on that film? It's one of my favourite stories.
No.
So, films come with warnings like contains mild and frequent peril and stuff like that. There was some, I can't remember the specifics, but there was some whole thing about like that was getting a rating they didn't want and stuff like that, and they had to basically put warnings with it for that rating. They're like, all right, then we'll put warnings. And that film was distributed in America with the warning contains frequent jousting.
Have I ever told you about my favourite reality show of all time?
Go on. I don't think you have.
It's called. I hate reality television viewership. The Sprite and the Doctor know this, but I loathe it. I despise reality television. But my favourite reality show, which is not saying much, is called Full Metal Jousting. It's like an American reality show where like they all live in effectively the Big Brother house, and every week people vote for the most popular candidates. And the two that are least popular have to joust against one another, but the winner stays on the show.
Okay,
so like
I'm with you. I don't like reality TV either, but that's incredible.
Yeah, so basically, whilst they're all inmates of the house, they get kind of jousting lessons. And there was a guy called, I forget his real name, but he's called the Black Knight because he was just an absolute dick, but he was an incredible horseman.
Yeah, right, that was going to be my next question, is can you not jab that system by being an unpopular but a good horseman?
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's required. You have to do that.
Well, no, you can avoid being in a joust by being, popular with the viewers.
I've got an awful lot of, like, jousting and knightly combat when the Doctor eventually is able to field mounted knights, but we'll get to that.
Oh, that's not till quite near the end. They're one of the hardest unit in the game to produce. Because the big thing with them is you need to have a stables, and a stables contains 4 horses. You build a stable, it's got 4 horses. It's not like you need to produce them, but they're just there. So you have to build 1 stable for every 4 knights you produce.
Oh my days.
Because your 4 horses need to have somewhere to be. So you need metal armor, metal weapons, and also a free horse. And it just means after a while, and they can't go up walls or onto battlements or anything like that. They are a fast but difficult unit. They're quite limited in some ways, so they are very handy, obviously, on an open field. But a lot of this game, you aren't on open fields, so
yeah, we'll talk a lot about the role of heavy cavalry when we get to it. But I like that they make it very difficult to field at night.
Yeah.
So I've got it in front of me actually, in case we to refer to. I've just finished reading a book about the Teutonic Order.
Yes.
So they're a military order from Germany, effectively, and we'll talk more about knightly orders also later in these series. But basically, for every foot soldier the order fielded, if they had 100 foot soldiers, very often they would have 2 knights for every 100 foot soldiers, because it was so prohibitively expensive to field armored knights on horseback. So William Marshall, the knight that we spoke about earlier.
You got a real man crush on this William Marshall.
I read a book about him and it was very interesting.
Yes.
But
You've met the Bard before, right?
That's true. No one has man crushes like the Bard.
I mean, I don't have a man crush on him. I think he's historically interesting. He was a bit of a dick, really, because he was a medieval knight who killed people for fun. But
right, this should be the last wave of the pig coming. These have, I suppose I'm on easy mode, aren't I?
Is this the last wave before the main one, or is this the last?
That's a great question, and I can't confidently answer it.
Okay.
That's quite a lot. Oh no, those are archers. That's fine. I thought they were mace men.
Oh, they'll drop like flies.
Hit the thing.
What, the trolls?
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Get it.
That'll be fine. We got it. But it's also going to hit the pits by the looks of the trajectory it's on. Oh no, actually, it threaded that tiny little path between them. Yeah, indeed. But this is basically, the ballista's essentially just carrying us here. Unfortunately, these guys are targeting the archers, not the ballistas.
Of course.
And in their defense, it's very hard to take down a ballista without taking down the tower it's built on. They're just so hard to hit.
Oh, here come the basemen. You would think if he'd been more sense, he would have
he's
set them
attacking
all
in a real
together.
stupid way. Because frankly, this is how you fight off a siege in this game. Is basically, well, it's how you fuck up a siege, is by just sending everything one thing at a time. You need to swarm them. You need there to just be too many targets. And he is not doing that. Bring that up. We've also got a load of spearmen up here to defend the Lord if it comes to it. But I'm hoping that won't be necessary.
Look out, sir!
If I was being ideally my troll self, what I would do is dress each one of those 40 spearmen up as the Lord, or at least have him disguised among them. They'd be like, yeah, see who's going to kill who now. But no.
Have you ever seen footage of when someone tries to assassinate Ronald Reagan in the middle of a speech? And there's about 20 of his bodyguards just pile themselves on top of him. I just picture this as the spearmen. They just look out, sir.
Is that the source of your game? Get down, Mr. President.
Okay, arguably. Which is a hilarious game if no one's ever played it.
What's Get Down, Mr. President?
So you play it if you're on a long walk or something like that, and the point is, someone starts off as it, and whoever is it can at any point touch their finger to their ear and hold it there like they're hearing something on a headset. And if you see someone doing that, you can join in. And the last person to do it, everyone has to then tackle him to the ground, screaming, "Get down, Mr. President!" But then the guy who's tackled is it next. It's very entertaining.
That sounds
not great if you're carrying a fucking 50-kilo backpack, but
a 50-kilo
I meant to say 50
backpack?
litres, as in a full-size rucksack.
Oh my god!
50 kilos would be absurd. Yeah.
You're not carrying any 50 kilo.
If you're carrying a 12-year-old on your back at the time, yes.
I was going to say, what kind of Superman are you going walking with?
Yes, I think that was not, in fact, the last battle. That was the last
before the
bullshit
big boy.
wave before.
You mess with me, you
You'll pay.
Or maybe it was the last wave.
No, it would have
No.
said victory by now, I think.
Yes. So what you need is more traps.
More crossbowmen, actually. Oh, that was it. No, that
Oh.
was much.
Oh,
I swear that's not the mission I was remembering then. The one I was remembering, you're running away. Was that a custom mission? Does that exist? Did I imagine this? very real.
I'm voting
that was
you
pretty
imagined
easy.
it.
I only lost 9% of my troops on that. I'm aware I'm on easy mode, but still. That felt very easy.
Nothing wrong with easy.
I never even got past the first fucking war, but that was because he came through it in little dribs and drabs. But anyway, we'll wrap it up. We'll see how this episode concludes. Oh, the wolf's snapping at my heels and has retaken the snake's old country.
Snapping at your feels, eh?
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Well, we're moving into whatever that is.
Hull?
Well, it's kind of Yorkshire, but like this is North Yorkshire, so I guess that's kind of Northumbria, but then I don't know what this is supposed to be if that's not Northumbria. So it's all very confusing.
Oh, there's such a an missed opportunity to call the pigs' lands the sty or something like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that's kind of what Manchester is in a lot of ways. Also, this looks like a seahorse.
No, to be fair, even Manchester isn't that bad. Clearly, Hull would be
Yeah.
the sty.
Yeah, well, that's the whole right there.
Yeah.
I've been to Hull.
Not great.
Not a great
Not
place. No.
Famously, yeah, that my dad, when we were kids, got a position as an academic in Hull, but travelled to and from Hull from Sheffield every week because my mum did not want her children to grow up in Hull.
Yep. Understandable.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up for the episode there. Thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Doctor.
I've been Sprite.
I've been the bard.
And this has been Stronghold. Hope you'll join us next time for the continuation of the battle between the wolf, the pig, and
Me?
us. Yeah. Thank you very much and good day.
Good day.
Jesus.